Greetings everyone, hello and welcome back to Cities Skylines once more to, a lovely day indeed. A lovely day indeed with whatever is happening over here once more. The traffic AI is showing its weaknesses. In this case here, we are going from a 3-lane highway into a 4-lane, or well, two 2-lane exits that we have. And those cars are completely overwhelmed with their choices in whatever direction they want to go. Very strange behavior indeed, and I have no idea right now how I could fix this. I've tried it with a 4-lane highway, I've tried it with a 3-lane highway that goes into a 1-lane and 2-lane. It always leads to this problem that those guys here, just at the very last minute, realize it's the wrong lane. And yeah, unfortunately we don't have traffic signs or shields that would actually direct them. And this leads to this problem. It's not a massive problem right now, as there's not a huge backlog piling up with that. Still, it is annoying. And if you have any solutions for that, please let me know. Because honestly, I haven't found one yet. Now, of course, this is not my centerpiece of this episode, traffic problems. We have plenty of them. We have a bit of air pollution as well over here right now. And honestly, also here once more, I don't really know why. The recycle stations that we had here are over here for a long time now, the recycling centers, right? And once again, for some reasons, the air pollution does not go away. So we had all of this here full with air pollution, and it's been almost a year now, half a year since we removed them, and still it persists. And for some strange reasons also, we have high air pollution in this area, in this park area, where I don't see really anything other than the highway, but the highway is not causing pollution, right? You can see this. Nowhere on the highway do we have pollution, right? And it's here. And I still also have no real idea what is causing this. In that case, it might be another bug. And holy cow, there's so many bugs coming up the more we play this game. Which is a shame, really. But, of course, we're pulling through. It's just another finicky thing that we need to mind here, beside my garbage problem. Also, thank you very much for pointing out that garbage might be imported with my cargo station. This can be true to some extent. Yes, we do have garbage here, 222 tons of garbage, right? And that is a lot. However, there is no garbage trucks going back and forth from here, so I don't think we really import it, and my storages get full with that, because no one is getting this garbage here. And also I've tried to delete it and waited a full year, and no, the garbage problem still existed. We still have it all the way through. Even though I have enough personnel, even though my incineration plants are working at 100% efficiency, we can't get rid of the garbage problem. It is officially, I'm calling it a real game-breaking bug at this point that, unfortunately, there's no solution to this, at least not in my safe game here. I've tried a lot of things right now. Now we are continuing with city expansion, the more exciting thing. And I would really like to go into this area now. And it's going to be high-density city expansion, of course, like here. In that case, we do have a high demand also of commercials and of industry. That's great stuff, right? So industry areas will need to grow as well to some extent, probably over here. But what we can do here is now expand. And for that, first of all, this country road that we have needs to, it doesn't really need to go like this. It needs to go like this. Let's remove it. It's not looking particularly nice there either. And we can then go ahead and use this lane here that we have already. I might consider pushing it up to the full 6 lanes, because here we already have that, right? In that case, I think that we have the tram depot there. Ah, lovely. Of course we can do this. Removing just those housings there makes it perfect. Let's just remove them again. Let's just add some low density for now. And then I continue onwards with a 6-lane road all the way now to the other side. We are probably going to make a bridge here, so let's get a bit of a slope there, right? And I haven't really tackled terraforming the rivers yet. That is something that we will need to do at some point. But for now, I'm fine. Oh, I can't get the 180 degree in, right? So we definitely will need to do it like that. That is a very interesting bridge indeed. That we can also get if we want that. Let's go with 179 degrees. Let's just make sure that the pillars look right. I would like to have a central pillar, honestly. And we do go then down here again into the ground. Another funny thing that we have is this one here. You can't terraform this away because most likely there is actually something below ground. Yep, the cables that kind of like act as a, I don't know, as something that pushes the ground upwards. So I do need to remove them, and only then can we get rid of this hill that we had there just now. The roads will make sure that I do have the pipes running, so I don't need this theoretically all the way to that side here where the country road begins again. So we need to manually remove it, and then only then can we actually go now to the normal system that we have there. There's going to be lots of traffic here for sure, so we will need to have another highway exit than here that is connecting this road, and I might even work on a highway that goes directly through the city at some point, because the traffic of course will increase. We don't have severe traffic problems at the moment, but I can see myself getting into that soon. Alright, so we have this road that goes to the other side. Let's make it just a straight line. Honestly, I don't want to have any curved, I'm not a fan of the 6-lane curved roads that much in a city itself, right? So we're just going to make it like that. There's another tiny river here where we can go over a normal bridge like this for the moment to that side, and here we just have this connection then with the country road that leads then to my industries up here, right? And we're actually fine now. Yeah, we have power and we have water. No problems here whatsoever. We still have some empty pipes over there. Okay, it was this. That's fine. And with that, all is clear. Let's also go ahead and purchase some more tiles, right? This one here I would like to purchase, and probably also those. That we go a bit into the mountainous area there. That's fine. And then I can have, I would like to have probably one junction here with a roundabout. Or we have one central one. Now, let's have 2 roundabout junctions, right? So one goes up like this, into the neighborhood up here, and one goes here with a roundabout. And once again, I love the roundabout tools. We're going to use a large roundabout on this to create both of them, right? And we should have a nice traffic flow with this. Power cable wise, we have this one here now connected directly with the road, so we do not need this power line here anymore, which is also great because I really don't like the look of them. And by the way, there is of course a better solution to those power line cables, and that's just the underground cable that basically connects the street with any kind of building without a transformer in between. So let's just try it out here. Let's get rid of the transformer altogether, and we have this building up there, and I think, by the way, no, there's no connection yet, and we can use the electric cable. It will snap to any kind of street cable that we have already, right? And we can then just snap it to a building, like over here. There we have the street overlapping there right now. Now it's not. And I can make it like so. Not quite. There is now the connection. It's a bit finicky. It's not always connecting at the first try. And with that, we actually have the connection without a transformer. Downside to this is, less capacity overall. So this is something that you can't have that much. So let's continue with this. We have still the 6 lanes here. This is actually not required up here, the 6 lanes. So we'll probably just make it a 2 lane. And then we can work on this inner section there. We can also, and we should of course, also add some terraforming to the area here. So I definitely don't want to have like this cliff there that we have right next to my roundabout. That wouldn't just look very good. So we can also just go ahead and add something here, and also reduce this one here. Oh, come on. There you go. Level this one down a bit and all together. And then hopefully with a bit of a sloping I can do this. Or, next up on the list, we're just going to create some grids that we want to have, especially in this area here. So this is going to be high density once more. I'm going to keep a bit of a distance to the river there. And we're going to make us one giant grid basically here, because this is going to be downtown area. And while I'm not the biggest fan of the grid system, or the grid tool actually, the tool is actually great, right? So the grid system itself is a bit boring perhaps, but the tool to create it is pretty great overall. And I really, really like how convenient that is. Also, of course, to create some dense city area that we can have like here. We can, of course, still keep some blocks here available, like this one for example, to get us in some bigger buildings then as well that we're probably going to want, something like this. But it can still be high density, and that's what I would like to have for this zone here, because this just basically makes sense. And we continue onwards then. This is then one big main road here that goes now up to the roundabout that we have. The same then with this one, right? So there's 2 roundabouts then that we can create here. Just need to make sure that if we go further uphill, it's getting a bit steep here, so we will need to implement some terraforming once more. But overall, that's fine then. And here we continue then with this road. Then we have this nice peninsula there. I mean, the whole thing is a peninsula. And what we can do here then is add some tourist attractions later on. So I'm probably going to get my dense road all the way along the river here, right? And also a bit further here. All the way to this point there. I think this is still fine. And if you look closely, perfect. There is the roundabout, right? So we can now go over here. Would like to create a bridge then. That's going to be a steep bridge there. Very nice. With the connection to this roundabout that we have, here we can make the connection back to that road. And here we just have another road that goes then to the other side of the river. This is not looking so good. I think we might actually just keep this one way and have another bridge then somewhere over here. Makes probably a bit more sense overall. And then we have, of course, some side streets or some smaller street that we can still add to the grid, like this one here. Perfect. And I definitely want to have a bit of a distance there to the river then, because we're going to terraform this as well, of course. But the grid is important for now. Yeah, on the other side, a bit of terraforming will be needed because it's pretty steep. So we can actually go ahead and create us here a plateau. So this is going to be a roundabout, right? Definitely do want to have a bit of a plateau closer to the roundabouts then. And here as well. And as you can see, yeah, it's getting pretty steep. So just over there, we already have some really high walls. And I definitely don't want to get this too high and also not too close to the river there. Otherwise, we are going to flood the city. That will also be not so great. Here we need to actually add a bit of soil. That goes then towards the river on that side. And then we can smooth that out over here again. There's going to be then another road that we can use on that. At the roundabouts, we're going to have a large one here and a large one here, right? And then we have some 4-lane road that just goes up then here. Perfect. And then up here we do have probably some suburbs again, right? So this is going to be some lower density then. There's still high density here, and the further we go up, of course, the lower the density then. And we can also kind of like leave the grid system then, as this road now continues then a bit further up into the mountainside. And the same thing I would like to do on the other side. Yeah, that's going to be pretty steep here. Some smaller houses, not so high density anymore, or we just have a lot to terraform. I could also try to carve it a bit further in, right? So we are making another plateau here. Yeah, that we can definitely do. We just carve it along this line here. Yeah, this almost looks completely natural. So the mountain kind of like starts a bit later. And here we have these cliffs, and I'm actually thinking about keeping them. I will just need to elevate this a bit again, right? So here, going to carve it over. And this one we probably can actually keep here, like this. And this road here just goes along this cliff then here. No, that's not looking so great here. We can actually make it a straight line, I think. And here we are having a bit of a slope problem. So this works out actually pretty well, and then we have this road continue over here again in the neighborhood, right? And we have a bit of a landmark here then that comes out like this mountain that kind of like carves into the city. I might actually just also make this one giant wall, or we just keep it like that and add trees and bushes, of course, to have it look then natural. I think here I can still make it a bit softer. So that we can build something. And at some point here, it ends then into a 2-lane road. Just along this mountain incline. And then we can just go ahead and also plaster this one with roads for a smaller neighborhood. Looking not so bad at all. Let's go ahead and just get us some low density housing in. We do need that, a lot of them really, to continue growing our other density housings. And in this case here, we can really make this full. And we'll just see where there is a big slope appearing that I will need to try and fix. Looking rather good for now. Here along the ridge, we're of course keeping it available and open and free. And here I can also, should be able to, or is this already too far in? It creates some slight slope, that is still fine. Here we'll probably will need to do some fixing. What I can do here is actually, if it's that tight, right, so let's get rid of this again. I can actually just make it so that there is a smaller, so it's not the full, the full 5 rows here that we have, or 6 rows even. I can say, let's just keep it at 4 rows. And this one also just at 4 rows, right? So that we keep a bit of a distance here to the dirt. And the same applies to these guys here. So they're also going to get shortened a bit. So the slope should be less pronounced with this. And it kind of like is. So we do make it a bit easier for the terrain to adjust itself there. The further we go down, of course, a bit more density is then required. Here, we're probably going to carve it in once more. So here we can... Do we want to have it up there? Let's actually have some 3 rows here. I mean, they immediately pop, so it's going to make it pretty simple for us to adjust something here. So this, of course, is going to create quite the slope. Let's just try and make it like that. We can push it. So this is a lot of smaller manual work just because of the terrain, but I think the results will be much better than if we just left it, right? Yeah, and in a way, that is fine. I will not be building houses here because that would just add a lot of slope then. But I think for this, we can keep it pretty smooth as it looks right now. Down here then, yeah, this is going to be starting to be some kind of neighborhood already. There's also an amazing slope that we have. So this is really problematic in that area. So I will not make the full rows, right? So for the offices that we want to have here, or the commercials, we're going to make them a bit narrower. So in that case, I will have room for adding some proper terraforming then in between, so that we can already see that there is some problem appearing. And here we can actually make it so that we have a smaller building here and keep a bit of a distance there to them, right? I definitely would like to have a school somewhere here as well, so we're going to make it a bit further up the hill. Perfect, with a bit of smoothing. No problem here. I'm only going to keep one playground though, and the extension, but no clinic. We don't need a clinic everywhere. And then some higher density zoning, obviously, that we will need as well at some point here. So this is all going to be commercials. A parking lot might be not so bad as well. And here then also high density commercial. Oh, this is too far in. Gotta keep a bit of a distance there to the river. And let's not make it so steep from high density to low density, but rather have some high density and then some lower residents here, lower density, so that we keep a bit of a transition there before the river starts. I think that's a bit better for now. And then we continue with high density commercials here, right? And then we actually go into the thick of it. So here I would like to have then some high density housing. And probably also some office. And then also some high density commercial again. This block here. And then we can make a mixed block over there with some offices. Commercials. And probably also some housing here. So this is going to be quite the valuable housing area. And this one we can actually also make housing. And after a while, this high density zone also continues to grow again. Funnily enough, also here, funnily enough, even more, we have a huge commercial demand right now. So whenever I place some even high density commercials, it gets plopped immediately. The same with the industry. Like, I don't know what actually is causing this huge surge right now in the demand for commercial and industry. But of course, we can ride on that wave. And I would like to do this for my industry zone. We have already the huge one here that I'm not going to make any bigger, right? So we have this one here still that I could use and probably also in this area. Let's actually have it here, right? So there is my train station. So this might be a perfect location for another cargo station then that we can use. And we have our junction here. However, this one we probably will need to get rid of if I want to make a better junction out of this. So let's actually delete the whole thing. Right, leading all the way down to the roundabout. Yeah, something like this. So we have another cloverleaf now over here, just for the high density traffic that I'm expecting really, right at the end. So unfortunately here we cannot build further. We can build a bit more up here that I would like to do. So this is once again a bit of industry, so we can keep the grid active. Let's actually make it a smaller road that just has it then here. Destroys my zoning there once more if we don't do this right. There you go. And then all the way to that side. Make the connection. So we have another block of industry. And here, yeah, here we could still purchase this map tile there. If I want to have a bit more industry going into this area, which I would, because here we can have a nice industrial harbor area then, right? To my industry zone and to my nuclear power plant and stuff. There might be a good location for it. So in this case here, we need to flatten this once more, just a tiny bit really. Or adjust it really to my road there, because we definitely do have some slope. And for that industry zone, I definitely do want to carve it in a bit. There you go, all the way over here. That should be fine already. Right, so we can get a few more tiles out, and here we just probably keep it like that for the time being then, so we can have another road. There you go, carving it in, and let's also reduce or remove the slope there again. Perfect. Buttery smooth that one is. And with that, we can just add here lots and lots of new industry. Yeah, if it weren't for the darn accidents all the time, like here, causing me some hiccups there once more. With all the trucks that want actually to get in here, delivering cargo like grain for food processing. A lot of grain is coming in right now. This area is also continuing now to grow. We do need a bit more lower residential demand buildings before we can actually work on some medium to high density zoning then here once more. And this is then the new area that we'll create over here, and then probably make the connection all the way to the highway in the next episode. And since we also passed 150,000, probably should start working on a metro system and the airport. Stay tuned!